Yes. Now it is done.
Okay, so thank you.
Okay. So I welcome Professor Narayan Kachhara for today's talk, and the topic of discussion of today is mind and its functions in Jainism. And if time permits, he will also touch the topic dreams, the concept of dream in Jain perspective. So now my request is to Professor Kachhara for delivering his talk.
Thank you, Zamniji. Today we are talking about an important topic, mind, and there were many questions about this in the last classes, and I hope I'll be able to convey the message of Jainism as far as mind is concerned. Mind in Jainism is not like a physical sense organ, but it is a subtle unit. And mind is different from brain. This I emphasized in the last class also. The consciousness of the soul is expressed through mind. There are other ways of consciousness being expressed in the body, say, for example, prana, which we discussed in one of the classes. But mind also is a channel for flow of consciousness to body. There are two types of mind, bhava mind and dravya mind. And the bhava mind is part of the soul, and dravya mind is a physical unit made of manovargana. And the dravya mind interacts with senses and with the external environment through senses, and thereby it influences the soul. Dravya mind connects, the body and the soul, and the external environment. And this relationship continues as long as dravya mind exists. And the connection ends when the mind ceases to exist on elimination of psychical bhav karma. Mind is instrument of knowing, perceiving, and cognizing. And in this function, mind works with senses. This was told to us by Dr. Sanchati also. And the sense data are communicated to brain first and then to dravya mind, which then responds. And this is the way of knowing the external objects by soul. The bhava mind receives the information and it perceives the object, identifies it, and it stores its memory. So all these functions are being performed by the bhava mind. The scope of knowledge by senses is limited, as we know, to direct perception of material world, but bhava mind can perceive and think of both the visible and the invisible objects and substances. So mind is very powerful. Both mind and senses work for perceptual knowledge, mati gyan, and articulate knowledge, which is Shrutta Gyan. And Shrutta Gyan, of course, is a subject of mind and senses both, and can be subject of mind only. Bhava, that is mind, has memory. So memories are there in the bhava mind and not in the dravya mind. And it operates in 3 periods of time. That is, it remembers the past, thinks of present, and imagines the future. These are the functions of the bhava mind, which is part of the soul. The activity of mind goes on continuously because of the stored memories, desires, emotions, and patience. Mind is influenced by our bhava, and I talked about bhava in one of the classes. And it remains active as long as bhava exists. Mind stops only when these activities stop, as happens during deep meditation, or when bhava produced by Kachhara or Leshya cease to exist. Mind has 3 aspects: cognition, thinking, and activity of mind, body, speech. And these three aspects can work jointly. We make distinction between mind and intellect, what is known as the buddhi. Mind is assisted by senses in its working, and intellect is assisted with mind. This is the order in which the things work. Mind only surveys and analyzes the situation, and intellect takes decision and is the source of knowledge generation, the Bauddhic Gyan. Buddhi, that is intellect, is of four types. One is Aug8 Buddhi. This is a sense of striking at the right point, which is never seen, heard, or otherwise known before, and thus leading to a successful result. This is a natural ability or genius. So this kind of buddhi can know a thing which was not known earlier. Then Vinayaki buddhi, the intellect of finding out a right solution in a complicated matter. It is attained through self-discipline, vinaya. Then Karma-ja buddhi, the intellect developed through practice in a particular vocation. And Parinamik buddhi, which is intellect or knowledge gained through inference, reason, and other methods of rationality. And it ripens with the advancement of age. That is, the senior people have this kind of buddhi. I have given here a sketch which explains how the mind works. So you see on the right hand side written gross body, and gross body has three parts: brain, senses, and body. As you know, the senses are the instruments which grasp the environment or receive the environmental message. So senses receives the environmental message and communicate it to brain. Brain communicates to Dravya mind, and the Dravya mind communicates to Bhava mind. And this is the order in which the information flows. And there is a backflow. Whenever you see the information goes to Bhava mind, then there is intellect you see at the top, I written. So the intellect, the buddhi takes the decision. It's not the mind. Mind doesn't take decision. Mind only analyzes the situation. So buddhi takes the decision, and the information flows back in the reverse order from bhava mind to dravya mind to brain, and then brain, has the control on the body, and then the body acts, either by way of body, mind, and speech, the three kinds of actions. So this is the way the things work. How are the memories stored? This is a big question. So we make some speculations in this regard. So we know the senses make contact with the object, and they communicate the sense data to brain for processing. So brain is only a processing unit, remember. So the processing involves neuron firing, synapses, making neuron circuits, electrical and chemical transmission, and generation of waves. All these things take place in the brain. The electric patterns or waves in the brain are supposed to produce an image in the mind DM, Dravya mind. This, I'm trying to explain the mechanism in which this happens. So the Dravya mind is coupled to brain. And how exactly this coupling takes place, we don't know, but it is coupled. The image in the mind, Dravya mind, may be in the digital form or some electromagnetic form. That is, whatever process is taking place in the brain, that electrical pattern creates a kind of image in the Dravya mind. The image may be digital or some electromagnetic forms, we do not exactly know. And this image produces a twin and real image of the object in the Bhava mind. So the image is produced in the Bhava mind. So the Bhava mind, it receives that information that what object is being sensed by the senses, and registers all information of the object that is cognized. This is Mati Gyan. So the entire information about the object which is seen by the senses, that information is registered in the Bham mind. So the Bham mind now cross-relates this information with previous information stored in it as Shruta Gyan about the object cognized and other items related to it. So when you see a particular object, that memory of that object is close related to all other previous memories relating to this object, So you are able to think in a broad way about that object and its relationship, with the various objects, various memories, which we had stored earlier in the mind. In the reverse flow of information, the information stored in the Bhava mind is communicated to Dravya mind and then to the brain, and then brain acts, So we are able to express through brain. Brain is necessary for expression. So the information flows from Bhava mind to brain this way, and then we are, the thinking is expressed. Thus, the soul integrates the bits of sense data processed in the brain and presents them back to the brain holistically for expression. So the integration of information is done by the soul, not by the brain or anything else. It is the soul which perceives the things. It is the soul is the knower. The soul knows. The soul perceives, and not the brain or any other thing. The brain is only a physical processing unit. So this is very important point here. So the whole integration of the data is being done by the soul, by its intelligence, and that the holistic picture is, communicated to the brain, and the brain expresses in a holistic way. The mind DM is an intermediate link or interface between the brain and the Bhava mind. What are the functions of mind? One is a cognition, the knowledge gain. Cognition is an important function. And we have two different kinds of cognition, which we will discuss here. One is Mati Gyan, perceptual cognition. Is the knowledge obtained with the help of sense organs and mind. This is Mati Gyan. So sense signals are communicated to the brain, then contact is made with the mind, and then the connection between this. If the connections between the sense organs and the brain is broken by some means, the mind cannot know the object. So this is an important point, So the brain must be working, and the brain must have connection with the sense data or the sense organs. Thinking process starts when the object is perceived by Bhava mind. Then only thinking starts. And there are 4 ways of Mati Gyan, perceptual cognition. One is Gyan due to sense organs alone, Gyan exclusively due to mind, and Gyan due to joint action by senses and mind, and Gyan independent of both mind and senses, which is intuition in fact. So sensual experience takes place when contact is established with an object by at least one sense. We have 5 senses, and there are different elements of perceptual cognition. Perceptual cognition, Mati, takes stock of present objective data, and then Smriti, the recollection or memory, as a reference to a datum perceived in the past. And recognition, Sangya, is the cognition of similarity of a past object of perception with another in the present. The most common example which is cited here is that if you see a smoke, you predict that there is a fire. So this is Sangya. And Chinta, thought, is a cognition of a future event. So Mati Gyan is a comprehensive class of cognitions. Now this Mati Gyan is represented in symbol, or what is Shuddha Gyan? This is explained here. So the cognition that is we gain by symbols like words, gestures, etc. And these are cognized by the soul. And this is known as articulate knowledge or Sruta Gyan. So Sruta Gyan is the word, which gain through words, gestures, or other symbols. The cause of articulate knowledge or Mati Gyan is Mati Gyan. The Sruta Gyan is achieved through Mati Gyan. The Mati Gyan is the first stage, and then the Sruta Gyan comes. And the Sruta Gyan, like Mati Gyan, is also produced by senses and mind, and it can be by mind only also. A person with a Sruta Gyan can know all objects of the world, present, past, and future, and all moods and all states in course of time. This, in fact, is the property of Keval Gyan, as you know. So Sruta Gyan can approach Keval Gyan in the sense that, it has the power to know all objects in the world, and also present, past, and future states, and all moods. But this cognition is a progressive and indirect. This is the difference between Sruta Gyan and Keval Gyan. So it's a progressive one, one by slowly you gain the knowledge. And in your lifetime, you can never reach the Keval Gyan, as the process is slow. But it's not, can be, its existence cannot be denied. So through Sruta Gyan, one knows but cannot directly perceive what is known. This is the difference between Sruta Gyan and Keval Gyan. So Sruta Gyan is very inferior to Keval Gyan in this respect. Cognition takes place by Kshayopsam of Jnanavani karma and Darshanavani karma. This is the karma explanation. And what happens to soul in the cognition process? The Gyan is not gained. This is a very important point you must note. The Gyan is not gained, it's the information which you are gaining. Gyan is the property, innate property of the soul. It is not coming from outside, from anywhere else. It's not coming from any object, it's there in the soul. So what you gain through Mati Gyan and Sruta Gyan is information. And so strictly speaking, it is not knowledge. What happens, when you have this kind of information or Mati Gyan and Sruta Gyan? The Jnanavani karma of the soul in this process changes from state 1 to state 2, as I have shown in the figure, next figure. Now you look at this figure, you see the Bhav karma written at the bottom, and these are the karmas. The blue one is the Agati karma, and then the 4 Gati karma are written above. AK is Antaraya karma, MK is Mohini karma, DK is Darshanavani karma, and JK is Jnanavani karma. And on the right hand side, I have shown in the yellow Bhav-man. This is just a representation. The Bhav-man is created by these karmas, the Kshayopsam of Ghati karma, Jnanavani, Darshanavani, Mohini, and Antaraya. So this is how the Bhav-man is produced, And the Bhav-man exists only when these karmas are existing. That is, when the Ghati karmas are destroyed, the Bhav-man also ceases to exist. It does not exist anymore. But, when the Bhav-man is gaining, say, Mati Gyan or Sruta Gyan. Now, I have shown here a ball. Suppose you see a ball, and the ball is, this image is found in the Bhav-man. So in this process, what happens to the Jnanavani karma? When during this process of your gaining Mati Gyan or Sruta Gyan, the state of Jnanavani karma changes from state 1 to state 2. And that is how the state of the soul changes from state 1 to state 2. That is the Gyan which was covered earlier is uncovered by a small amount, depending upon your Mati Gyan and Shruti Gyan. Remember. So every information which we gain through Mati Gyan and Shruti Gyan, it removes the cover of Jnanavani karma, and the Gyan of the soul is expressed. Okay. So it is the Gyan of the soul which is expressed, in fact, and this is what we call as Mati Gyan and Shruti Gyan. So that is a very important explanation. Then what is a bhav, feeling, willing, all these are also the function of mind, So we know about bhav, I discussed it in one of the earlier classes, and the leshya is the expression of bhav, and we know how leshya acts in the body. And the feeling like pleasure and pain are experienced by sensing system and mental thinking. So feeling of pleasure and pain is not a soul process, remember. The soul does not experience directly the pleasure and pain, and it is the mind, Of course, mind, Brahman is a part of the soul, but strictly speaking, it is not the pure soul which experiences the pleasure and pain, It's a karmic process. So it is experienced through sensing system and mental thinking. The two are important. So pleasure and pain, like leshya, do not originate in the soul. These are products of body and mind. In case of any disorder or injury to body, and signals are communicated to brain and are sensed by mind, which develops in the feeling. This is how we develop a feeling of pleasure and pain. Generally, experience involves both the physical and mental process. So mental phenomena of pleasure and pain may or may not involve the operation of senses, but any sensual activity necessarily involves the mind. We know that. Willing also is a mental function. It is because of the Kshayopsam of Mohniya karma that we have a desires, we have a willing. So senses are auxiliary cause, as the soul desires what is liked by senses. So senses become a nimitt here, because what you see, you like something and then you desire for it. In the case of rise of karma, willing is biased by rising karma, and in case of kshayopsam of karma, willing is guided by memories of bhavan. So you desire what is there in the bhavan. So your bhavan guides desires. But the soul has power to act or not to act according to any of these forces, and decide to act independently. So not necessarily you desire something does not mean that the soul has to act in that way. The soul has a power not to act according to what you want, And this is called free will of the soul. The soul has the free will. It can override your desires and so on. But free will does not mean lawlessness or arbitrary reactions. Although this possibility is not excluded, it can happen. Free will, in fact, is a positive sense, means exercising judicious decisions for stopping bondage of new karma. Now, this is the real use of free will. And in the state of omniscience, there is no will, because will is produced by Mohni karma. Mohni karma is eliminated, and there are no willing, no desire in omniscient. So omniscient doesn't desire, doesn't think, because omniscience has no mind. And mind also ceases to function in the omniscient state. So this is my first lecture. I'll take up the second one quickly, and only a part of it, which is important from the Jainis point of view. It takes some time. I don't know, how do I share? Okay, share screen. Okay, so we come to this lecture, dreams. This lecture I have included in the course because dreams are also concerned with the mind. So mind is involved in this process of dreaming. So that is why I included this this in the course. But whatever I am going to talk about dreaming is, remember, I am just figuring out, and it's not explicitly written anywhere in the text. So there is a lot of speculation, but I hope it is logical. Sleep is produced because of, there is a Drashnamani, Karmayam, and Nidra, 5 kinds of Nidra. So, and because of Nidra, because the rise of that kind of karma, we have sleep. And, this itself, the karma being fully obscuring kind, Nidra is a fully obscuring kind of karma. So during sleep, the darshan function does not take place. Okay, no darshan. But intelligence, gyan is still working. The intelligence of the soul is still working. And the soul can take decisions, because the intelligence is working. But there is no cognition, no new knowledge can be gained, because the knowledge is gained by both darshan and gyan. And darshan is not working in this case of dreaming. Deluding karma is also in action during sleep, because that has not been subsided. So we have effects of patience and quasi-patience during dream. So soul can have emotions of anger, ego, deceit, greed, laughter, indulgence, dissatisfaction, sorrow, fear, disgust, and sex. All these emotions, which are because of deluding karma, can take place during dreaming. Leshyas are also working in the dream state, and they produce different kind of bhav and feeling during dreams. The senses are not working, and therefore the actions are only mental. Okay, senses are not functioning during dream. There's no communication of information from senses to mind, but reverse can take place. That is, information can flow from mind to senses. So in this case, the sense organs can act according to information received from mind without any cognition activity. Sense organs do function during dreaming, but there is no knowledge gain, no cognition activity. Contact with the external world is lost because senses are not working, and therefore the entire dreaming is because of internal inputs only. There is no external input during dreaming. However, it is possible for speech system and the limbs to act unconsciously on the receipt of information from mind. As I said, the body can act during dream. In the absence of external contact, soul acts in a way as if no one is observing, no one is watching. This is how the soul behaves. So the actions of the soul now may be in contrast with those performed consciously in the waking state. This is what the Freud has emphasized again and again in his theory. So, the soul is acting as if no one is observing, and therefore, the actions are very different than what we do in the waking state. So mind can construct a story based on past memories, and this may be either meaningful or absurd. There's all kinds of dream we have. There are some dreams, where there are some meaningful results are produced. It is possible for soul to have insight and vision. Intuition is possible. External contacts are lost, but intuition is possible. So soul can have insight and vision in the dreams also. And sometimes this is of divine type. But for this to happen, mind and brain must be in a relatively calm state. During the period of early sleep, digestion system is generally working at high level, and the brain is also engaged in this activity. And therefore, mind, brain, body activities are expected to be low during the later part of sleep when there is no digestion working, And this is the time when the intuition power is least obstructed, and soul may have meaningful dreams containing some useful indications or hints of practical significance in life. So such useful dreams are we see only in the later part of the sleep, early morning. Now, when this happens, the soul may get glimpse of future events. And there are examples. Mother Trishla saw 14 dreams, and all the dreams were having certain meaning, and all those dreams were interpreted by the experts. And then, of course, there was predicted that, she is going to give birth to a Tirthankar-like personality, So the dreams were useful, meaningful, but they were also conceived, or were seen in the later part of the night. So the dreams, of course, I stop here. The next part is psychology and science, which I think you might learnt about through my video lectures. So I stop here and let us have questions.
Professor Kachhara, I have a question. Namaskar. Where is the Bhauman? That's what I missed.
As I said, Bhaman is a part of the soul, so it is in the soul, but it's an impurity of the soul. Remember, it's not part of the pure soul. It is the information. Now, you must also understand what is impurity of soul. So many times, we are talking of impurity of soul, Asuddha. What is that? All that information which we are gaining is causing impurity. That all the information registered either through mind or through karma, whatever kind of information is registered in the soul is an impurity. Remember. So the Bha mind is a part of the soul, but it's a part of this impurity. It's
but
because
where
of
is
karma.
Yeah. Where
Yes.
is the location? I'm just like you said, from body to Dravyaman to Bhauman. So
Yes.
Dravyaman is a part of mind somewhere. I do not know exactly what location or what area.
Okay, I got your question. Remember, soul occupies the space of the body. That is the first thing. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So soul is all over the body. And so also is the mind. There are two beliefs, here. The Digambar belief says that the mind is at the place of heart. This is the kind of belief which is probably taken from the Vedic tradition. They also believe that way. But the Svetambar belief is that the mind is all over the body. The mind occupies the body just like soul. So soul occupies the body. The mind also occupies the whole space of body. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, where is the Bhaman? That location cannot be known, because the mind is all over the body. So what is that part which constitutes the mind? We do not know. But we know that the Dravya mind is coupled with the brain, and therefore the Dravya mind can be thought of having a location in the brain. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
And because Dravya mind and Bha mind are connected, So you see, more or less, we can say that the Bha mind also exists in the brain. This is just for understanding. Otherwise, as I told you, the mind is all over the body, and therefore the Bhaman can also be there all over the body. It's possible.
So, no, Dr. Kachhara, that then the question is, from Dravya mind, how does the impulse or whatever the knowledge is going to the Bhauman? Is there a chemical process, neurologic? Because we don't know, is there an actual connection? How does like impulse travel? We cannot see the electromagnetic things, just like we say in the space, the words and all those things are traveling, which we cannot see. But how does it happen? How Dravyaman and Bhauman's connection, and how the impulses or whatever the stories or wording, the information is communicated, basically.
Sure. That's a very good question. In fact, the connection between the Dravyaman and brain is physical.
Yes.
Dravyaman is physical. Okay. So connection between Dravyaman and brain is physical. That could be some kind of electromagnetic connection, we do not know. But the connection between Dravyaman and Bhaman is not physical. It's not physical at all. How they are connected, we exactly do not know. Okay, but probably this could be due to information transfer. There is an information transfer from Dravyaman to Bhaman and Bhaman to Dravyaman. So this exchange of information establishes some kind of connection. Okay, but which is not physical. It's something, it's just like that, how the soul and karma are connected. So the most difficult question to answer is, connection between karma and soul. Similarly, the connection between Dravyaman and Bhaman is difficult question, but as far as I think, it is because of exchange of information. I'll show this connection in the next class, when I construct a model.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Shobhaji, you can ask your question.
Thank you, Samniji. Namaste. Namaste, Kachhara. I have two questions, actually. You did say that the mind is a temporary unit. And if it is temporary, where does it, how does it store the memories, and how are these memories made useful to the intellect later if it is temporary? And how temporary is the mind? The second question is, in your picture, the diagram where you showed the soul and the body separately, in the soul, there is intellect and there is mind. And how does the knowledge get transformed into the soul in that? Where is the location of knowledge in that? Thank you.
I forget your first question. Please repeat the first question again.
The first question is, the mind, you said, is temporary. And if the mind is temporary, the memories are stored in the bowel.
Okay. Mind is temporary in the sense that the mind is operative when you are thinking. And when you are not thinking, mind is not operating. Although the Dravya mind physically exists, but it's not functioning. This is what we mean there. Okay, temporary means, the Dravyaman is not functioning at that time. Dravyaman does that because it's a physical unit, so it cannot disappear, at once. So the Dravyaman functions when there is a thinking process. Okay, and the memories are stored in the Bhaman. The Bhaman is not disappearing, when there is no thinking. The only thing is it's not working, it's not functioning. Okay. So you differentiate that way.
So the bowel mind is not temporary. It's continuously
No,
running in the background, is it?
our mind is there, yes. It's not disappearing at all. Whether the mind you are thinking or not, my mind exists always. So far as karmas are there, the mind is created because of kshayoksam of jnana varaniya karma. That is the first thing. Okay. So far as the ghati karma exists, mind would exist and the thinking will go on. When the ghati karmas are eliminated, mind does not exist at all. That means the Brahman ceases to exist, all memories cease to exist. Omniscient does not have memory. He has no memories. His gyan is pratyaks and simultaneous and spontaneous. He doesn't have to have memory, We have to have memory because we forget things. I mean, if we want to know something, we cannot know immediately, and therefore we have a memories, and our memories are working, and memories are very helpful in our case. We have only mati gyan and shruta gyan. Okay, in case of keval gyan, all these things are useless. Memories are have nothing to do with them because they gain the knowledge directly, spontaneously, and at the same time, instantaneously.
But somewhere these memories are being converted to gyan, right?
Memories are information, as I said. Gyan is property of the soul. Okay. And whatever you are gaining through mind is information. And that information is registered in the Bha mind. So the Bha mind has information and memories, So memory is also, the information stored is memory. So that is only information, not gyan, as I made it very clear in that diagram, that whenever you are gaining some knowledge, mati gyan or shruta gyan, okay, that is memory stored, and your state of mind, your state of the soul is changing. The gyan is being uncovered, and slowly, the whole cover on the Jnanavani karma is removed in the Keval Gyan process, and there the whole Gyan then is expressed. You have infinite knowledge, infinite Gyan in the Keval Gyan state, and no information. Information is zero at that time.
Yeah, and where is this Gyan located in the soul?
The soul itself is Gyan.
Yes. So we have the intellect, we have the Gyan, and we have the consciousness in the soul.
The intellect is also karmic. Okay, so long, you said the intellect, the buddhi which you are talking of, is useful in case of mati gyan, shruta gyan, the indirect knowledge. There the buddhi is working, we are taking decisions. You understand that point? So buddhi is taking decisions, So it's a karmic process. Mati gyan and shruta gyan, and then you have buddhi, and you take decisions when the mind is working, mind analyzing situation, producing sankalp vikalp, and then you take and decide, what to do and what not to do. So this is the act of buddhi. So this is also a karmic process. Remember that. So keval jnani, no buddhi. Buddhi is useless to him because he has no gyan. He is a keval gyan, as I said, he can gain instantaneous knowledge of everything or anything in the world. So buddhi is also just like mind is a process or is a result of karmic process.
I have one more question. I'm sorry, if you'd
Okay.
indulge me.
Please.
So that's about Keval Jnani. What about us? When we get born again, we do not carry our mind. We carry only our intellect, and we carry the knowledge in our soul, right? And the consciousness, which is what is going to shape our next birth. So when that is so, when the mind with its memories has dissipated and it has gone away with the present birth, what is that memory we are carrying in our karmas to our next birth?
Yes, good question. So the first thing is karmas are being carried over. That everybody knows and everybody accepts that, okay? As far as memories are concerned, there are two parts of memory. One which are carried forward and others which are not carried forward. So this part also I will talk about in the next lecture. So you can differentiate between the memories. Certain memories are being carried forward in the next birth, Mind is not carried forward. Okay? Suppose I say I'm a human being at the moment, and in my next birth, I become a plant. I'm just taking an example, The plant doesn't have mind. Okay? So those memories will not be expressed. The mind is not carried forward. Mind is generated in each birth, depending upon what type of birth you have. If you have in the next birth, if you have a human yoni, you will have mind. If you have a Tiryans, 5 sense Tiryans, you will mind. If you are Narki or Dev, you will have mind. Okay? But if you are having, suppose you are in the next birth, one takes birth as an insect, then the insect doesn't have mind. The mind is not carried forward.
Yes.
But memories are carried forward. Some memories, not all.
So somewhere these memories are converted to a carryable memory, which will shape our next birth, right?
Yeah, all those memories are in the soul, as I told you. Brahman is a part of the soul. So when the soul is migrating from one place to another, one birth to another, those memories are going along with the soul.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kachhara. Thank you.
Okay.
Anybody else? Yeah, Deepika ji, you can ask.
Very, very explainable, excellent lecture. I have 2 questions. When you make the diagram with the soul and Bhavaman, so does that go like a Tejas Sarir and Karma Sarir, which goes with the soul? And is it inside that some memory goes?
Karman Sharir and Tejas Sharir are different from memories,
How does it carry it?
Our soul has 2 types of records. One is the karma records, We bind karma, and we are familiar with that, different karma. So these are also memory records in the soul, So that is one type of record the soul has. Another one is these memories, which you are talking of now. So certain memories also are there in the soul, and they also go along with the soul, but they are different from the Karman body and Tejas body.
Oh. So soul carries the 2 Sharir as well as memories.
Yeah, memories are there in the soul. You see, it is because of that, sometimes, you know the term Jati Smaran?
Yes.
I mean, you recollect past lives, sometimes. Many people do, they remember their past life. Now, this is because the memories are there in the soul of the past lives, so the one is able to recollect them under certain situations.
So, any other question?
Banjami Namosami.
Yes.
Dr. Kachhara, as usual, काफी इंटेंस बातें बताई हैं आपने, तो मैं बहुत नम्रता पूर्वक आपसे पूछ रहा हूँ. ये मैंने सवाल पूज्य समनी जी से भी पूछा था. अध्यवसाय नहीं, अनध्यवसाय ये क्या है? तो पूज्य समनी जी ने जो जवाब दिया वो आप मुझे करेक्ट करें समझी जी, हो सकता है मैं गलत समझाऊं। उन्होंने कहा जैसे सोते हुए या कोई चीज मतलब स्पेकुलेटिव हो, वो अनअदब शाह है। और मैं कंफ्यूज हो रहा हूँ। आचार्य प्रवर महाप्रज्ञ जी ने एक पिक्चर दिया है। शुरुआत होती है सोल से, सोल के बाद कसाय, कसाय के बाद अध्यवसाय, मतलब माइंड तो बहुत दूर है अभी तक। और इसके बाद माइंड से अब उसका अनध्यवसाय उनके हिसाब से, जैसे मैंने 50 दुकान देखी, याद एक दुकान रहती है। वो जो बाकी 49 जो मैंने दुकानें देखी वो अनध्यवसाय है। ये गलत है क्या?
नहीं नहीं, मैं इसको गलत नहीं कह रहा हूँ, ठीक ही है। जो समणी जी कह रहे हैं वो ठीक ही है। अध्यवसाय और माइंड के बारे में जो आप रिलेशन बता रहे हैं, और जो आचार्य महाप्रज्ञ जी ने मेरे ख्याल से कोई चित्र भी दिया है इसमें, तो वो ठीक है। अध्यवसाय और माइंड जो है, माइंड भी एक प्रकार का एक एंटिटी है जो बहुत सब्टल है। और अध्यवसाय को भी हम कहते हैं कि जो हमारे आत्मा का जो स्टेट है और जो कंपन होते हैं उसमें, उनको अध्यवसाय कहा गया। वो भी कर्मों के कारण ही होते हैं। तो जो कर्मा जनरेटेड वाइब्रेशंस हैं उनको हम अध्यवसाय बोलते हैं। तो वो अध्यवसाय आचार्य महाप्रज्ञ ने चित्र में दिया है कि वो अध्यवसाय आगे चलते हैं और फिर माइंड में जाते हैं और फिर आगे जाकर के एक्सप्रेस होते हैं, इस तरह की बात है। तो ठीक है, उसमें कोई गलत नहीं है, वो तो अच्छी बात है।
कृतज्ञ। और दूसरा, बहुत
Actually,
नम्रता पूर्वक आपको आपने बहुत अच्छी बात बताई कि मेमोरी जो है वो कैरी फॉरवर्ड है अपने जैन आगमों में और जैन ग्रंथों में। कई दफा है कि वैर की भावना ये कई जन्मों तक चल सकती है। ये सही बात है ना?
जी जी, बिल्कुल चलती है।
बहुत बहुत कृतज्ञता।
any other question? So I think,
Nandami,
yeah, let's ask question.
Yeah. Samni ji,
Yes.
जय जैन प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर कछारा
जी।
सर, मुझे एक जानना था कि ड्रीम को हम कैसे फिलोसोफाइज कर सकते हैं। मीन्स ड्रीम को हम रियल या आइडियल या एम्पेरिकल कैसे उसको कि कौन सी कैटेगरी में हम ड्रीम को रख सकते हैं। मीन्स सपोज इफ आई वांट टू फिलोसोफाइज ड्रीम, वैसे देखे तो ड्रीम इज ऑलमोस्ट रियल because we feel everything.
Dream is real. Yes, it is real.
It's a real, right? But
No,
then
it is real.
Yeah. So, but when we wake up, we lose it. So,
That's right.
is it an ideal? It's an idea. Is it idealism, or is it a kind of a जो भ्रम बोलते हैं वैसा कुछ?
नहीं, भ्रम नहीं है। ऐसा भ्रम नहीं है। आइडिया वो इट्स ए रियल थिंग जो हम तो एक्सपीरियंस करते हैं ड्रीम में। बहुत से लोग रोते हैं, कुछ लोग कुछ एक्शन करते हैं, कुछ बोलते हैं। तो इट्स अ रियल थिंग, यू नो। ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। लेकिन ये क्या है कि इसमें इट्स ओनली ज्ञानावर्णी कर्मा विच इज वर्किंग, यू नो, एंड द दर्शनावर्णी कर्मा इज साइलेंट। So the cognition activity is not there. जो cognition activity होती है, memory record हो जाती है। तो इस तरह की बात है, तो कभी memory record हो भी सकती है, नहीं भी हो सकती है। I mean, it's not sure कि होगी ही, जैसा कि मति ज्ञान में होता है या शुद्ध ज्ञान में होता है, तो memory record हो जाती है। ड्रीम में हो भी सकती है, नहीं भी हो सकती है। It fades away very fast, you know. It's a kind of temporary memory which is created, so it fades away very fast. But one, if you tries to think about it later on, then it becomes a Shruta Gyan, and you can store the memory of the dream also. So you see a dream, okay, and you will forget about it unless you think about it. If you think about it, it becomes a Shrutagyan.
Yeah.
Okay,
हम लोग
and
जब
then it is stored. Otherwise,
Very
it is
true.
not stored.
Yeah. But if you see the genesis of dream, it people say psychologically that it is either your day's activity or some past life memory or some memory of some incidents that get entangled with the present experience, and you see the dream. Means if you see how the dreams are right, so it is partly memory also plays a picture. In some of the
That's
dream,
right.
it is said that, yeah, some of the dream we say that people see their past lives, or they say they see some past experiences. And so I was just confused how to, philosophize there, which school of philosophy. See, it is like a realistic, we can say, but with realistic, is it a pseudo-realistic or it is a realistic, empirical or idealistic, or because it sometimes it sounds mixtures of all this. So
Certainly, yes. Because you say, as I said, the dreams is based on your memories.
yes,
And the memories which we have, are memories of this life as well as the memories of past lives.
right,
Yes, all those memories are there with us. So all those memory can work, during dream and produce a picture which is a mixture. And there is no control on this thing, So it's a random kind of thing, So it mixes the location, the objects and things, it's a mix of things, So this is what you see. But there are good dreams, as I said, where the intuition of the soul works. Okay, when the intuition of the soul works, and then you can have a meaningful dreams. This happens in the life of many people.
right.
So I don't know how do you want to philosophize, but this is the way it works.
Yes, yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Professor, एक question मेरा और भी है, if I can ask.
Yes,
Yeah, you
please.
can.
Okay, okay. ये आपने जो कहा ना कि जो रात को subconscious mind, भाव मन काम नहीं कर, no, भाव मन is working and द्रव्य मन is not working, or the memory or the information is going from one part of the brain to the other. तो हम लोग में जो कहते हैं ना कि रात को सोने के समय अगर टेप रख दी और कुछ एग्जाम है हमारी, तो जो कल का मटेरियल, if I have to memorize something, if that memory, if I can turn the recorder on and fall asleep, information is still going. So it's only the memory, not understanding. Is that correct? If I understood you right?
You have a tape recorder when you are sleeping.
हाँ.
And so
याद
you are
करने के लिए, हाँ.
You are in sleep and the tape recorder is going on, is working.
Yes.
I don't know.
क्या होता है उसमें?
I don't know. If that is the way of remembering things, then why should everyone will fare so well if that is happening, if you have a tape recorder working and you are sleeping and you think that the things are going from the tape recorder to your mind, I don't think so.
Because those people believe कि हम दिन के time में all information what we are collecting is through the conscious mind, and then
Yes.
and at the night time from the conscious mind, all the memories get transferred to the subconscious or unconscious mind, whatever they are saying, that other part of the brain which is not collecting the memories, but which is just kind of transferring and storing into the subconscious mind. Is that concept?
No, I don't know.
But
The first thing I must tell you is that the memories are not stored in brain.
No, but they may be going via the path because Matignan, no, not Matignan, the
No,
Bhav and
they
Bhavman
have,
and Dravyaman, yeah. Because we
no,
are
there
getting
is no,
information from outside, right?
no, there is no cognition activity during dreams,
Yes.
as I told you. Cognition
Mhm.
activity is suspended during dreams because Darshanavani karma is
Then
not
senses.
working.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm not
so
talking about the dreams. It is not about the dreams. It is just a question
nobody,
when we were.
no, but you are sleeping.
Yes, I am sleeping. Yes,
Yes, sleeping means Darshanavani karma is not working.
that is correct.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
only Jnanavani karma is working.
Okay.
So no cognition activity. The cognition activity, you need both darshan and gyan.
And that is during the wake up.
That happens only during wake up state.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So लोग hypnosis कहते हैं कि past memory को.
Hypnosis is something different. Hypnosis
Yeah. What
is
is
something.
what is hypnosis then?
No, hypnosis, I do not know. I mean, they take you to your past memories.
Mm-hmm.
So somehow, that means, your past memories are being activated, that also will happen through your mind and through your brain, So the hypnosis is some kind of influence, they create on you so that you are going, you are connected to your past memories. So that you are doing, the person who is doing the hypnosis may be successful, may not be successful. The people who are of strong will have no effect of hypnosis, remember.
Mm-hmm.
Hypnosis does not act on everyone. It does
No.
not work on everybody.
No, but my thing is how is the mechanism working? Even in a feeble-minded person, आप in information बाहर निकाल सकते. But I'm just trying to understand the process. कैसे आती है भाव मन में जो भरी होती है, उनको बाहर निकालते हैं. So there is some kind of process, something is happening in the brain or whatever during that process. And
Yes, something happens. Yes, something happens. This has to be explained, and I'll not be able to do right away.
Okay.
Okay, because I had not thought of hypnosis process. So I would like to think about it, and then only I can tell you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
So, just I wanted to know that Acharya Mahapragya ji used to say that there are three main functions of mind: thinking, imagination, and memory. So you have said that mind is perceiving, knowing, and analyzing, whatever. So what do you think about these three functions? And knowing is the part of consciousness, and also the perceiving is the part of consciousness. But imagination, memory, and thinking are the main functions of mind.
And that's correct. You say the soul is the perceiver and soul is knower.
Yes.
So that part is very clear.
Yes.
And then imagination and thinking is the function of mind.
Yes.
But the mind means bhav, which is part of the soul. So it is not the dravya mind which is thinking and imagining. It is the bhav mind, which is part of the soul, is doing this function of thinking and imagining. So basically it is the soul. Primarily, it is the soul which is doing this function and nobody else. Because the Pudgal doesn't have this power.
Yes.
So it is the soul.
Just how we can differentiate the function of soul and the function of mind and the function of brain. So we have to at least, of course, it is consciousness which is working and which is involving in thinking process or imagination or memory process. So after all, it is consciousness. It is the power of consciousness which is being recognized as Bhavaman.
That's right.
Yeah,
Exactly,
but
exactly,
just we have
exactly.
to see that if we are accepting soul and mind and body or senses or intellect, etc., so we have to define all the 3 or 4 things uh, based on their different functions.
Yes, we had to define, and I think I made it very clear here also. The sensing is done by the senses. That is, you receive certain signal, and the senses receive the signal, and then they communicate to brain, by a certain process. So there is a certain process in the brain. How the senses are connected to brain is function that is part of the medical science and biology. But the mind, of course, I think I have explained. The mind is different, senses are different, and the soul is different. 3 different existences.
But may I please?
Okay, you can.
Kachhara ji, then it means that we have said mind is also like a pudgal and it doesn't belong to the soul. But we are here saying that Bhavaman belongs to the soul. And when we leave, when the soul goes to the next birth, it leaves this Bhavaman behind and takes only its buddhi and its jnana, or does it take the Bhavaman also?
Now, the Bhavaman is is going with the soul, a part of it. Don't say that everything, the whole thing goes, and what part goes and what part doesn't go is a difficult question. But a part of it goes with the soul, because the memories of the past lives are going with the soul. Okay. So memory of this life also are going with the soul. So in the next birth, when you take a next birth, you might remember this birth. So the memories are going with the soul, but all memories are not going. That is the fact. But what memories are going and what are not going is very difficult question to answer.
So Bhavaman is part Pudgal, part Atma, right?
No, Bhavaman is part of the soul. Dravyaman is Pudgal. Bhavaman is not Pudgal, it's not physical.
Okay.
So, can I ask a question?
Thank you.
Yes.
Professor Kachhara, I have a now confusion, because in a anatomy or biology, they say that the intelligence and memory that's in the right side of the frontal lobe, it gets stores there. And then what we talk about the mind, we don't talk about memory storing at the right side of the frontal lobe. How do we put 2 together?
This is the belief, which science has, that the memories are stored in a part of the brain.
In the frontal lobe.
And whatever it is. There have been many questions on this particular belief, from the scientists and from psychologists and so on. I'll tell you why. Say, the neurons, which make up the brain, keep on changing.
Yes.
But memories do not change. Remember that, whatever memory you have are not changing, even if the neurons are changing. So the question is, where are the memories stored? If the neurons are temporary, the memories are not. So there have been many questions on this part, and so the people have come to the conclusion that, look here, the memories are not stored in brain. Although scientists believe this, that this is stored here, this is stored there, and so And they also say that the mind is a part of the brain, is some part of the brain or some extension of the brain itself, They don't believe in the subtle kind of mind. But there have been questions like this, and therefore nowadays the people are going to this belief that the mind is some kind of extension of brain which is subtle. This thinking is now coming in science also, because they are not able to explain with the help of the brain structure.
Yeah, but the brain stem, the pons and medulla oblongata and midbrain, that they die, patient is dead, even if body function is there, even if the heart is working, if the lungs are working. So is that the place where they store the memory and everything, or is that the place where the soul has a main function? Otherwise, if you cut the body, nothing happens to the patient. But if you if something happens to the brain, even heart you can transplant. But if you cut the brain, that's the end of the day. So
That's right. That's right.
Is that brain? Is the brain is an anatomical structure or Dravyaman or whatever you call that? Then where is the really soul lives? Because if the soul lives in the whole body, why is the certain part cutting kills the person, not the other parts?
You mean, the heart can be transplanted, but the brain cannot be transplanted. Exactly. Brain cannot be transplanted. This is what you are saying.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Because the brain is connected to mind, and this is the position we have today. I do not know what will happen to medical science tomorrow. Maybe that you have a time where the brain is also transplanted. I do not know. The medical science is changing so fast. That the thing which looks impossible today may be possible tomorrow.
That's true.
So even maybe the time comes when the brain is also transplanted. We do not know.
No, but the thing is that there has to be somewhere where the soul has to live. If the soul is the whole body.
The soul will live in the body, whatever. Say when the heart is being transplanted.
Yes, lungs being transplanted. All other organs are transplanted except.
Okay. So the soul will occupy that new organ. If the soul does not occupy that new organ will not be accepted by the body. This is true in medical science. If you transplant some organ, the body must accept that new organ. If the body does not accept that new organ, the organ will not function. So this soul then extends in the new organ. This heart is removed, another heart is put in its position. The soul will extend that organ, new organ, and the karmas will be working there also. If the soul does not extend, if the karmas does not work in that organ will not be accepted in the body and it will not work. This is a medical science, this is a medical fact. Okay? And say, I know a person, whose heart has been transplanted. I know a person, a friend of mine, And there is always a danger that, that the heart may be rejected anytime.
Yeah.
So he has to take care. He has to take certain medicines always, lifelong. So that, this does not happen. Otherwise, the body can reject that organ anytime.
Yeah, but my question was, we get two kinds of a patient. One patient, we call them a brain dead, where the blood flow does not go to their mid-stem brain. And the people who has a brain flow in a upper part of the brain where we have all the information, that's a whole different thing. So the question is the heart, where is the soul main point is in that part of the brain?
The soul is all over the body. Soul is in the brain also, but the soul is all over the body, And remember, one important point to remember is that soul has Atma Pradesh.
Correct.
You
Yeah.
know that.
Yes.
Atma Pradesh. Every Atma Pradesh has the same amount of information and the total amount of information. Okay?
Yeah.
So that way, if you reduce it to the biological state, then every cell of the body has the total information and the same information.
Yeah.
It's a repeat of information that way. So in the brain also, the total information exists in every part of the brain. You know. So I do not know. I mean, why do we
And
confuse
it's
this?
very difficult way to link between the science and the Jain philosophy or any other philosophy.
Yes, but there are questions raised, you know. I mean, so who perceives the thing? Who knows?
Yeah.
Who gains knowledge? I mean, these questions have been raised in science.
Yes.
I mean, if you know a particular object, who knows it? The brain knows or somebody else? Who perceives the thing? Who thinks? The brain does not think. So these questions have been debated time and again, you know.
Yes. But you gave a very good explanation about intelligence and those things today. Excellent.
Thank you.
It's very clear.
Okay, thank you.
Agree.
Just one thing I want to say that Acharya Mahapragya, in his Praksha meditation literature, he used to explain that where the soul resides in the body. Though it is true that the soul is everywhere or in the body, but mainly he used to say that it is the nervous system, sensory nervous system, which is the main place where soul resides. So that's why he used to say that if somebody wants to know soul, then he has to meditate on big bone. It is the central nervous system. It is the part of central nervous system, no? And it is reaching up brain. So you can, soul is residing in this particular half meter of your body, and you can see that.
Okay.
So that is the main part. And the nerves are going throughout the body. That's why the soul is everywhere in the body. The sensory nerves, the motor nerves.
Yeah.
So the soul is mainly found in sensory nerves because it is the function of soul to know the things, to perceive the things. And it is the central nervous system and sensory nervous system which can know and see.
Yeah, you can put it that way. The Atma Pradeshas are not uniformly located in the body.
Right.
They are concentrated at some place and they are rarefied other places, you know. It's not
Yes.
uniform. So Atma Pradeshas are concentrated in the central nervous system, including brain. So brain plus spine, you know, this is the main part where the Atma Pradeshas are concentrated.
Correct.
They are present in a concentrated manner. That's correct.
Yeah, that's
why all the chakras are located in this big bone.
That's right.
Because the consciousness is found in concentrated form on these chakras.
Yeah, that's right. The chakras is another concept where the medical science does not accept. They say there is no chakra. Because the chakras are again subtle. And the chakras are formations in the Tejas body.
Oh, really? Okay.
Okay. They are the formations in the Tejas body. So they are subtle, you know. And so the medical science can never know about chakra.
No.
We'll never know.
And one thing more I want to say that Indriya, what is senses? So when senses are defined, it is said that they are the means to carry the consciousness. They are representing a soul or consciousness. So wherever the senses are there, there is the presence of soul. So in the eyes, the nose, in the tongue, in the ears, and throughout the skin. So these are the five senses which are representing that there is consciousness inside, which is working through these senses.
Right. So we can put it that way. Say,
Yes.
senses are instruments of knowledge.
Correct.
Yes.
Right.
ज्ञान, तो ज्ञान का उपकरण तो सेंसेस है और ज्ञान आत्मा का गुण है. So that way, you know, the soul is very much connected with the senses, and because without senses, you know, we cannot gain knowledge, perceptual cognition, which you are mati gyan and shruti gyan. So that way, they are very much connected with the soul.
I think that's the reason in your diagram when you showed the Dravyaman. So Dravyaman is where the senses goes through the body, and that's where it stops. So that's why meditation and everything works on that part of the consciousness.
Yeah, meditation works, of course.
Because you are stopping the senses. Basically, you are controlling the senses. But then
meditation means going beyond senses.
you're going beyond senses, right?
Yeah.
Then you are taking over the autonomic system, whether
Yes.
you're taking sympathetic or parasympathetic.
That's meditation is something different, you know. It's going beyond senses, beyond mind, you know.
Okay.
The real meditation is that when you go beyond mind, which we are not able to do. Very few people are able to do that, you know. The normal, common people are not able to go beyond mind, even if they meditate, you know, for any length of time. So that's very difficult to practice, in fact, you know, and it requires a lot of practice to have a meditation going beyond mind. Then you are able to connect with the soul. Otherwise, you are not able to connect with the soul.
That's what they said, Turiya, right? The Turiya in a Om, the last one.
Turiya, yes. Turiya Avastha is that going beyond mind.
Okay, so I think we have taken so much time of Professor Kachhara, and thanks for answering to all the questions in a very scientific way and with all clarity, imbibing the philosophical insight. So I'm very much thankful to Professor
Thank you,
Kachhara.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, Professor Kachhara.
Vanda,
Wonderful.
Thank you,
Samriti,
Vanda.
namaskar.
Thank
Thank
you.
I
you.
appreciate
We learned a lot from you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Vanda ma'am, Samni ji, thank you, Professor Saab, thank you.
Thank
Jai
you.
Vandami
Jinesh.
Samniji.
Thank you, Suril, also.
You think?
Yes, Suril must be thanked, you know, because of him.
Yeah,
that we
because
are-
he's, yeah.
Yeah, because of his.
Thank you, Surilji.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you,
you,
Suril,
Suril.
because
Very much.
That's right. Okay.
So thank you very much. Now we have 2 more classes. After that, the presentation will start. I hope all will give some presentation that what they have learned or what new they can, what we say, present. After listening to so much lectures, topics, discussions, might be you have also something new in your mind. So you have to present through your presentation or a research paper. So hopefully I should get very good number or quality papers and also presentation.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Good. Namaste.
Namaste.